If everybody clapped like Eric Wolf, I'd get a little better response from you guys down there. Thank you. Thanks, really. I met Philip in my freshman English class. Walked in one day. Phil was sitting on the front row, sitting by Jalen Wiley. It was a pretty good class in there. Had DeMarcus Hardy, Big C, Shannon Walker, a lot of coconuts in that class. Phil was sitting on the front row, and I looked down. He had on one black sock and one white sock. I said, Phil, your socks don't match. He said, yeah, I know. My mom tells me that, people make fun of me anyway. I don't need to bring it on myself. I said, okay. So I saw him after school. He had on a pair of shorts. He still had on those socks. Went out to football practice where he was filming. I said, Phil, you're still wearing those socks. You've changed into your shorts. Now everybody can see them. He said, yeah, I know. I didn't bring an extra pair of socks. So we were leaving at the same time. I had pulled out my phone. He got in the car with his mom. Pulled out my phone and I texted him. I said, tell your mom, take it easy on you. Tell her it's pretty common that you actually have another pair of socks just like that in your drawer at home. About 30 seconds later, he sends me a note and it says, my mom says you're not funny. Phil is funny, but Phil's also courageous. And whether you see him carrying a backpack that's about the same size he is up 5 flights of stairs, or you catch him in the cafeteria playing the tap game with Dean Scholl, running around, messing with him, or whether you hear about him going to a third world country, raising funds for, as Phil says, people who don't have all the advantages and are less fortunate than I am. He's a guy who walks up and down the halls every day of his life and demonstrates a courage that most of us, me included, never really have to produce. He inspires me. I'm glad that he was my student, both as a freshman and as a senior. I'm glad I know him. I'm glad I can call him my friend. Give your attention to my friend, Phil the Pill.
One thing I wish for is that I would be tall enough to where I don't have to move the mic, but that's unfortunate. I'd like to thank Coach Henry for that awesome introduction, and I'd like to thank you guys, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be standing where I am today. Thank you, Dad, for being a most awesome dad. That's all you got? You're gonna wave? I'm going to share with you my story, and it started 18 years ago when my parents went for their first ultrasound. They were new parents. They were so excited. They were thinking all sorts of dreams for their firstborn, which was me. The doctors did an ultrasound on my mom, and she found out that I had many problems. There was something wrong with the right side of my face. I couldn't figure out what it was. They also found out that I have many holes in my heart. So many, the doctors could not count them. The doctor said I also had a cleft lip and a cleft palate. All these issues can be fixed through a surgery, but the life-threatening issue is that I have no stomach. There's also another issue. My mom's life was in danger. She had an excess amniotic fluid, and if she continued the pregnancy, she would also die. But what my mom said after this just was like, it gave me so much respect for her. And I encourage each and every one of you to love on your mom, because they didn't have to have you, but they did because they knew you had a purpose. My mom said, even if I die, I want my baby to live. And I believe this is what every mom should be like. Courageous, in being able to do anything for their babies, even if it means their own life. When we got home, our pastor gave us a word from Jeremiah 18, verses 3 and 4. And it talked about how Jeremiah went to the potter's house and he saw the potter working on a wheel. But the vessel he was working on was messed up. Here's the amazing part. The potter did not throw that messed up pot away. Instead, he reshaped it, making it into a good-looking vessel using the same clay. My pastor said, God is not done with your baby. He will live, but only if you believe. My parents stood on that word and they believed. And they went back to the doctor's office and they found out, the doctor told them that, are you ready to abort this baby? Because there's no hope he'll live. My advice is to get rid of him, and we can still do it legally. My parents said, no, we want to keep our baby. The doctor said, okay, let's do another scan. And after he scanned for about 5 minutes, he said, do you see this black spot on the screen? That's the baby's stomach. I have no idea where it came from. I know I said before that there was no stomach, but now I'm changing the report. The report now says I have a stomach. Don't believe on what the doctors say. Yes, they're amazing. They're so incredible. And I have a lot of respect for them. But there's a higher power up there that says the first report isn't the last report. So on July 27th, 2000, I was born alive. But I had many other problems. The doctor said I have one eye, one ear. I have many holes in my heart. And I have a missing corpus callosum. And the corpus callosum is the information highway from the left to the right brain. And if that was missing, I would not be able to walk or talk or study or communicate like other children. The doctor said I would be a vegetable for the rest of my life. I would have a lot of mental issues. The doctor said I would have seizures. I haven't had one seizure, ever. I was a little developmentally and mentally delayed. But by the age of 5, the doctors were like, I can't believe how far he came. Take him out of a special school, put him in a regular school. By the age of about 6 months, the doctor said I would die. He said my heart is working so hard, it's getting so big, and there are so many holes in it, I can't even count them. Even if we do a heart surgery to repair a large hole that's in the heart, it would not be enough. He's going to die anyway, so prepare for his funeral. My parents went to the Lord in prayer. My entire church prayed for me. It seemed like the whole world was praying for me. 2 weeks before they scheduled surgery, the doctor said, after scanning my heart, this baby has no holes. I don't know what you guys are doing, but this baby has no holes in his heart. Get him out of here. Since 10 days old, I've had 24 surgeries. Most recently, I had an eye surgery in December. I want to talk about one particular surgery I've had. In August of 2008, it was supposed to be a simple surgery on my throat. I wanted to improve my speech. And later on that year, I was going to have a back surgery to hopefully straighten up my spine. The doctor, they did the surgery, and what happened was they took the tube out of my throat, and instantly my throat collapsed. What turned to a 45-minute surgery turned into a 6-hour battle for my life, and they lost it. My parents, all they could do was sit down and pray and believe that, and ask God to do a miracle one more time. He did. So I encourage you today, if you don't believe, that's fine. But after you hear my testimony, I want everyone to know that there is a higher power out there. And he's wanting to talk to you. He's wanting to mingle with you and listen to you. I don't know how many times I've went and I talked to God. So many times. I've cried so much. He listens to me. And in April 2009, I accepted Christ into my life, and I've been so peaceful since then. Because of what my family had been through, we started an organization called Love Without Reason. Basically, our work is to end human trafficking by doing free craniofacial surgeries for children in India and in Africa and other third world countries. Before I step down, I want to encourage you. With God, all things are possible. With man, it's just impossible. And I remember saying this in Kenya last year. If Philip can do it, you have no excuse. If I can do it, y'all, you can do it. You have no excuse. Now go and conquer the world. Thank you, and God bless you.
Philip, you may have to pull a microphone down at a podium, but you, my friend, are the biggest man in the room. We appreciate you sharing yourself with us, and we appreciate your message this morning.